every resource, every logistic that has to be done for the diaspora to vote has to be done. So that's the one thing that I want to push very strongly when I get into the Senate. And of course, I want to also say, the government has done, some sort of work.
On your platform, Chui, you want to advocate for diaspora issues in the Senate, which with yourself being a long-time diasporan from Minnesota, you said you lived there for over 20 years. Now, I want you to briefly first tell us what part of the diaspora agenda you are planning to work on should you get elected in the Senate.
Thank you very much again. So yeah, you're right. So basically, having lived in diaspora for a while, I think I'm one of the best suited candidates who if I'm elected senator and happen to be in the legislature in Kenya, I'm best well suited to actually advocate for diaspora affairs. In that I've lived here, I've lived in the diaspora. I understand very well exactly the challenges that we have. But the one thing that I want to push that really I think is critical, and I think this is where the diaspora comes in. But I also want to make sure that I say this very clearly. Diaspora, of course, is very critical in terms of helping move our economy back home through the money that we send back home. That's well and good, but it's not enough. As much as we're in diaspora, we're also Kenyan. So exactly what happens in Kenya is also our business. So one of the things that I really want to push or maybe help improve, because it's already been done over the years, but it hasn't been done to a level where we feel very satisfied in that process, is the idea of diaspora voting. I know KDA and other groups pushed really hard to have language in the constitution to have that process of us voting from diaspora passed, but the implementation of that process is what has been lagging. And I think one of the things that I'm critical about is that language that was put in there that the government is going to progressively implement that process is what has been dragging us for a long time. When we say progressive, there's no end time. So basically, any administration can come in and say, we're still working with that because it's progressive. So I think one of the things that I want to push is to have a definite date that is set, that by this day, every resource, every logistic that has to be done for the diaspora to vote has to be done. So that's the one thing that I want to push very strongly when I get into the Senate. And of course, I want to also say, the government has done, some sort of work. They have, for the first time, allowed us now in the larger diaspora in the US and the UK to actually register to vote, at least for the president. But how it was done in terms of what we just happened a few weeks ago was not something that I am happy about, because there was no consultation in terms of the folks in the diaspora, because that process could have been done much more efficiently, where it would have given a chance for more people to register. Just having people drive to the consulates at this point, is well and good, but that's not enough. So I think that process could have been done much better. So my work and my hope is that once elected as a senator, is that I need to push for that, for the change of that, to make sure that thing is addressed much more quickly, and also to have a definite deadline by when everything should be in place for us to be able to actually vote for, not just for president, but for every level of every elective seat back home, if we can, because it can be done. It's not hard. Technology has changed that. The issue they're saying is about security and whatnot. That also can be managed in a way, but the government has to work with us on that process. So I'll be pushing for that. The other thing also that I want to push is also to say that based on based on the money that we give back home and our interest that we have back home, I think it's time that we also have what I would say the 48th constituency, or the 48th county. It's time for us to have diaspora representation in the county. in the country. Basically having an elected representative from the diaspora who's also part of the process in the government. That is what we also need to push, and also push for legislation where we have diaspora to play a part and parcel in terms of the policies that are being passed, in the various sectors in Kenya, and to have a seat for us to be part of that process as well. Not just consulting, but also by virtue of us being there, sitting on the table as well.